I had delved deep into the caves of the Stone Splinter Valley. The Trog chieftain, Gromuk, and his 2 guards lie defeated. Trog Slayer was the moniker I had been given by the dwarves of the Southern Guard Tower. And yet, as always, my journey continued. During my travels, I had heard tell of a dwarven prospector who was spearheading a groundbreaking new archaeological excavation in the Night Elf territory of Darkshore. This prospector was reputed to be a bit absent-minded, so I wanted to volunteer to lend aid where I could. But first, I needed to ensure that I was going to be strong enough to handle the task. With the Trog invasion facing a serious setback, I left Loch Modan and headed back to Darkshore. I still had to loot crab chunks for Gubber Blump in order to receive mailed boots, so I moved over to the beach and began harvesting meat. I was busy killing crabs when I saw the glint of metal hiding in the sand.
Oh, okay. That's an upgrade. And it's a blood-spattered loincloth. Excellent.
I continued squaring off against my crustacean foes, and after acquiring enough crab chunks, I returned to Gubber Blump.
Wow! These fine crab chunks are what I need. Thanks, Adventure.
For my efforts, he awarded me with a sturdy new pair of metal boots. As I continued to gain experience and upgrade my equipment, I also wanted to keep improving my trade skills. I planned to fish up and stockpile a large amount of fish in the near future, and fishing was also a great way to level up cooking as well. I was going to need some recipes though, so I ran south along the beach until I came across Hayden Galesong, the local fisherman.
How may I help?
I purchased a cooking recipe from him and made my way back to town.
Goddess, watch over you.
On my way though, I came across a massive beach sea creature. This was a rather peculiar sight to behold, so I harvested a piece of the creature's bone to demonstrate to a nearby priestess of the moon.
I hope the Murloc did not give you much trouble in collecting this for us. I will be sure to get this on the next hippogriff to Darnassus.
I spoke with the priestess, Gwyneth Bly-Lagond, who informed me that many creatures had been beaching themselves upon the coast as of late, which was a troubling development. She requested that I investigate another nearby carcass, and I obliged. According to Gwyneth, out in the harbor lied the remains of a large skeletal sea turtle. I made the swim and retrieved a piece of its remains before returning to the priestess.
You've been a tremendous help here today.
She thanked me for my contributions to her research and invited me to alert her to any other beach sea creatures I might find. While I was curious about further investigating the coast of Darkshore, I wanted to return to the Eastern Kingdoms in order to pursue some different cooking recipes from the other factions of the Alliance. After hearthing to Westfall, the first thing I did was pick a fight with a Dust Devil. If ever I am in Westfall, please assume I am killing Dust Devils in pursuit of that amazing magic dust. I decided to take the long trek to Stormwind instead of flying there in order to gather some raw materials. I killed coyotes, boars, and spiders along my way, and as I did so, I made sure to loot their meat. I stopped at the Goldshire Inn to cook before making my way into Stormwind. In the Canal District, I spoke with Catherine Leland, the human fishing supplier, but could not find the recipes I was after. Despite my disappointment, the fish were jumping, so I made myself comfortable and I cast my line. After hooking more fish, I left Stormwind and took the Deep Run tram to Ironforge. In the dark and dank Forlorn Cavern, I found a gnome called Tansy Puddlefizz who could offer me the recipe I was after. I bought it and quickly got to work cooking fish on a nearby brazier. With my cooking skill now at a decently proficient level, I moved over to the alchemy trainer, Tally Berry Fizz, who taught me how to extract blackmouth oil. Acquiring this extract was one of the main reasons why I was leveling fishing in the first place. Blackmouth oil was a necessary ingredient for some useful potions, and I wanted to stockpile so much that I could brew enough potions to last me to level 60, even if I dropped alchemy for engineering. With my fishing, cooking, and alchemy skills prepared, I was ready to venture further into Darkshore. I chose to explore the southern beach first in my search for the beach sea creatures. As I ran past the carcass I had already looted, I spotted a pile of floating debris. These nodes were the second main reason I was leveling fishing, as they often provided sealed chests which contained valuable resources. I gathered as much of the debris as I could, and I continued my jog to the south. Up ahead, I saw the remains of a beach sea turtle that was surrounded by murlocs. One among them looked stronger than the rest. Flagelmurk the Cruel, a rare spawn. I gained some rage and applied a few buffs before engaging my foe. The fight was nothing special, and sadly, neither was the loot. I cleared enough of the weaker murlocs to create space, and I gathered a piece of the sea turtle's remains. I ran further south and quickly discovered another beached carcass surrounded by murlocs. These murlocs could heal and net, but they still posed little threat. I took some of the creature's bone and continued on my way. Soon after, I snuck past a small murloc outpost, and as I did, I waded directly through a school of oily blackmouth. I had found the fish I was looking for, and I readied my pole. From this point on, please assume that I am fishing up all of the floating debris and oily blackmouth that I possibly can. I made my way to the southern end of the beach and spied even more murlocs guarding beach sea creatures. These murlocs were much stronger though, and I had to pull them slowly and carefully. I pulled another bone off the carcass and peered even further south out into the bay. There lied more giant turtle remains, but the murlocs covering them were too powerful for me to contend with. I concluded my beach combing and headed back to the town of Aberdeen. While fishing on my trek back north, I popped open one of those tightly sealed trunks and found something truly valuable.
Oh, nice. A 8-slot bag.
Almost immediately after, I fished up another trunk which contained a cool new shield.
Oh, we're on a roll tonight.
I returned to Gwyneth and handed her all of the remains I had found up to this point.
Another discovery for us to research. Well done, adventurer. These remains will be properly studied once they get to Darnassus.
Before heading north, I wanted to do a bit more fishing to the south. During my time there, I picked up another recipe from Hayden, and as I continued, I chanced upon a washed-up armor crate.
Oh. Let's go. That's crazy.
Receiving male shoulder pads from this crate was the luckiest result I could have hoped for. I returned to town and did a bit of cooking before pressing some fish to extract their oil. I had been purchasing trade supplies from the dwarf Gorbold Steelhand, and he now had an offer for me.
Off the coast of Darkshore to our north are 2 wrecked ships.
If I could manage to recover both lockboxes from the 2 wrecked dwarven ships, he would award me 18 silver, a mighty hefty sum. I began my jaunt along the northern beach, and I reached the shipwreck almost immediately. After surveying the situation, I started carefully clearing murlocs by pulling them up to the surface. Going underwater in hardcore without water breathing can oftentimes be very dangerous. I took a deep breath and dove down to where I could reach the Silver Dawning's lockbox. I repeated this process in the sunken mist veil, and soon I had acquired both of the missing boxes. I continued north along the coast, and I saw another one of those beach sea turtles. The murlocs here were a foe I could handle, and as I began clearing them, one of them dropped something very useful. 8-slot bag. I have so many 8-slot bags. In the carriage atop the turtle's back sat a box covered in strange markings. I took it to show to the priestess. I continued north until I stumbled upon another turtle carcass. This one was thankfully unattended, and I easily gathered its remains. I reached the northmost end of the beach and turned around to head back to Aberdeen. Near the wrecked ships, though, I found a beach sea creature guarded by weaker murlocs that I had missed earlier. Effortlessly, I gathered a piece of its bone. I again returned to Gwyneth and provided her with all the materials I had found.
Another discovery. Well done, adventurer. These remains will be properly studied once they get to Darnassus.
After delivering my findings, I handed the 2 missing lockboxes to Gorbold.
You've done us here in Aberdeen a great service, lad. We'll make sure that their effects are properly taken care of.
With my scouring of the long coast of Darkshore completed, I retired to the capital city of Darnassus. While there, I made sure to check in with Sylvana Forestmoon and Ulthir, the alchemy trainer and supplier. I learned to craft the elixir of water breathing as well as the swim speed potion, which both allowed me to begin utilizing the blackmouth oil I had been hoarding. As I began to stockpile these new potions, I gained enough skill to learn how to craft the next strongest tier of healing potion for the hefty cost of 40 silver. Over the course of the next few days, I used fishing and beachcombing as an excellent excuse for procrastination. During this time, I noticed that some of those powerful murlocs were missing from their perch atop their giant sea turtle remains. I quickly scurried over and scavenged another one of those strangely marked boxes for Gwyneth. I also spent some of my time off cooking, and by now I had become highly proficient. While hanging out with Gubber Blump, I found a one-handed weapon upgrade from a tightly sealed trunk. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'll go train daggers. And with my stint of procrastination over, I was ready to continue on my journey. I started off by turning in the strangely marked box to Gwyneth, and in return I received enough experience to level up to level 18.
I have heard of the kinds of carriages found on the back of that turtle. Those I do believe are Naga carriages.
After leveling, I returned to Darnassus for some training. I spoke with the weapon master, Ilyenia Moonfire, and learned how to wield my new dagger. After that, I returned to Sildenair, the warrior trainer, for some class training. Over in the craftsman's terrace, I got to work pressing oil from the more than 100 oily blackmouth I had caught during the past several days. Before leaving the city, I decided to gain some weapons skill by helping the elves to exterminate the vermin infesting their capital. I am sure they will appreciate my selfless volunteer work. Gear update. No helm, no neck. Got these awesome shoulders from the armor crate there on the beach. We have a nice cape from Westfall. Chest piece that's maybe a little bit low level, but still better than something with no stats. We need better wrists. Ghoul fingers. We need a belt. Pretty nice legs. Those pretty nice, very nice legs. And the awesome boots. So we need some rings as well. And then we'll get another weapon at the level 19. So that's our armor update. I had the time to gain one more level before aiding the prospector, so I returned to Darkshore where I saw a quest on this wanted poster. The Aberdeen Village Council required aid in slaying the vile murloc Murkdeep, who was responsible for sinking those 2 dwarven ships. I headed south back to that grouping of murloc hovels and began killing all of the murlocs there in order to summon their leader Murkdeep. With my rage bar full, I charged their leader and slowed his friend. I moved backward to create some distance and easily took Murkdeep down. Almost as if in response, the additional mob reset like it was running in fear. With Merc Deep defeated, I returned to Aberdeen and spoke to the Sentinel, Glinda Nalshay, to report my accomplishment.
Well, looks like you're here to more than just inquire.
In return, I received the Breakwater Girdle to replace the white belt I still had equipped. I wanted to finish my leveling back in Westfall, so I hearthed back to the human lands. I picked up where I had left off by killing Defias pillagers and looters in order to aid the People's Militia. Once I had killed enough, I returned to Grian Stoutmantle at Sentinel Hill.
Kings, your worth to the People's Militia has been validated by your brave acts thus far.
I received 6 silver and the next quest in the chain, to slay the strongest of the Defias in the zone. I headed into the Dagger Hills and began my route of the Highwaymen, Pathstalkers, and Knuckle Dusters that were camped there. After fighting my way through the hills, I realized I was standing very close to the Defias-controlled town of Moonbrook. I had heard rumors of a freewheeling double-agent merchant that was based there, so I began clearing my way into the former inn. I managed to locate the Defias Profiteer and purchased from him a rare alchemy recipe for creating rage potions. Afterwards, I returned to the hills and completed my killing spree. Back in Sentinel Hill, I took the opportunity to craft some stronger wool bandages with the new cloth I had just looted from these stronger Defias. I spoke again with Stoutmantle and boasted of my deeds. In exchange for my efforts, Grian provided me with a powerful new sword and enough experience to level up to level 19.
As proven by your valor in battle, it is obvious to me that you serve our cause with honor. It is with great pride that I induct thee into the People's Militia. May the light shine upon you. Light bless you.
This was the last level I could complete my next achievement quest at. And while the Edge of the People's Militia was a mighty new weapon, it was now time for me to undergo a hardcore warrior rite of passage. Across the human-controlled territories of Westfall, Duskwood, Redridge, and Elwyn Forest wanders a certain highly regarded individual. Antonio Pirelli, the traveling salesman, offered rare and valuable goods for all different kinds of adventurers. He was famous among level 19 warriors for his offering of the ludicrously strong Executioner's Sword. This plus 8 strength two-hander could hit twice as hard as the axe I was currently wielding. I left Sentinel Hill and began my pilgrimage to locate Pirelli. After searching across multiple zones, I finally managed to find him in Lakeshire.
Good day to you.
Unfortunately, he did not currently have with him any of the limited supply item I was after. I made camp for the night and vowed to find him again in the morning. Dawn came, and I continued my search. This time I ran into Antonio on the outskirts of Goldshire, and this time he did carry the blade I was seeking.
How are you?
I used half of the fortune I had amassed during my days off spent fishing to afford the weapon. I hurried into Stormwind for some weapon training from Wu Ping, and I equipped my massive new upgrade. I was not yet proficient in this weapon type, so I headed into the Deep Run Tram and killed many, many rats. I also took the time to skill up my unarmed strikes as I had begun to encounter foes that could disarm me. Besides, who doesn't love a good rat punch? After completing my weapon training, I returned to Westfall. I wanted to finish the prerequisite quest chain for the deadlines before tackling my next achievement. Grian wanted me to hunt down the Defias messenger and intercept his message.
Edwin Van Cleef. I know the name well. To think that a man so industrious and talented could turn into such a scoundrel unnerves me. I'll need further proof before I believe this.
On my way east, I encountered a small band of young adventurers. They invited me via a whisper to join their party to take down a powerful rare spawn. I informed them of my solo self-found status and politely declined their invitation while wishing them luck. Walking along the road to the west, I found the messenger I was hunting. Despite his vicious mockery, I slew him without breaking a sweat. I picked up a mysterious message and prepared to head back to town, but before I could go very far, I received another tell from that party. They informed me that they had given up on the pursuit of their prey. I inquired as to the nature of their former foe, and they named my next target, the Foe Reaper 4000. I scoured the zone until I finally located the automaton in the middle of the dead acre to the south. I cleared out a small area and waited for a friendly patrol to leave before pulling the Reaper. This mob had one level up on me, and I was a bit concerned about our combat. But as I was notified of my friend's death in this very same zone, the tide quickly turned in my favor. Whoa. 10 slot bag, holy crud. I savored in my victory as I equipped my luxurious reward. Upgraded my 6 slot into a 10 slot. Let's go, dude. I headed back to town and turned in the mysterious message to Stoutmantle.
This is indeed firm proof that Van Cleef is in charge. Now all we need to know is where the Defias gang is hiding out.
He tasked me with escorting the Defias trader back to the secret Defias headquarters. We slowly fought our way through Moonbrook until we reached the entrance to the hidden hideout. I reported back to Sentinel Hill where Brian Stoutmantle offered me his final task.
King's most excellent adventurer. Van Cleef is as good as ours now that we know where he is hiding. And there is but one task left for you to complete. Edwin Van Cleef must be assassinated.
Killing Van Cleef would have to wait, though, as it was finally time for me to seek out the Absent Minded Prospector. I flew north to begin my trip to Darkshore, but I stopped in Stormwind along the way.
Safe travels.
I once again sought out the librarian, Adair Gilroy, and his vast selection of scrolls.
Light be with you.
He did not have much to offer at the moment, however, and I opted to hang around until his next restock. I loaded up on various scrolls and grabbed some other consumables from the bank before continuing on to Darkshore. While waiting for the boat in Menethil Harbor, I took the opportunity to fish up a pool of floating wreckage. I'm glad I did, because on the ship I opened a watertight trunk and found something awesome. Yo, let's go! Another 10 slot bag. Once I had arrived in Aberdeen, I sought out the archaeologist Holly.
What an honor it was when Master Greywhisker assigned me to work under the guidance of the great prospector Remtravel. At the Academy in Ironforge, everyone knew of Remtravel's great discoveries, but the prospector is rather, oblivious to his surroundings. We had uncovered evidence of a great society. Horrible golems sprang forth from the ground and overran the site.
She was able to point me in the right direction to find the famed prospector. I ran south until I was able to locate Remtravel's excavation site. I checked in with the prospector, and everything was exactly as Holly had claimed. Horrible golems had overrun the dig site, and Remtravel was a doddering old fool.
What? Holly, is that you? I need some help chiseling this stone. Hand me my stone brush. I think I see something. Hey, you're not Holly! Don't suppose you've seen my stone brush? Never mind that now. I promised the League I'd send the mysterious fossil I found. Where did Holly go? So much work to be done.
I applied my many buffs and began pre-clearing the golems from the pit before allowing Remtravel his re-entry. With my mighty new sword, these foes went down easily, but my main concern was getting swarmed in an environment with only one exit. I deactivated several golems before running back to give Remtravel the go-ahead.
So then, Holly?
I sprinted back into the pit to keep clearing, while Remtravel started poking around. As he did, a wretched trog burst from the ground. I gave it a smack to gain its attention, while the prospector continued forward and aggroed a golem. I was pleased to see him fight back, and I noted that while he could defend himself to an extent, he would continue to be oblivious to my own combat. I easily dropped my foe and moved in to help Remtravel. I made sure to engage a nearby respawn and invite it into our combat before the first golem was slain. I downed both foes and quickly bandaged, but more golems immediately spawned. They both focused on me, and I pulled them back near the entrance for an easier potential escape. My health was getting low, and as I backed up to stay near Rem Travel, I heard him release more trogs. I tried to sit and eat, but I had no time, and I charged in to defend the Prospector. I quaffed a healing potion and activated Stone Form before pulling both mobs back. We killed both of the nasty brutes, and I immediately put my bandages back on cooldown, along with my healing potions. I sat to eat while I allowed Rem Travel to move ahead. We easily downed 2 more golems in succession, and each time I pulled them back to where I could see the entrance to watch for respawn. I taunted a 3rd golem off of my ward, and I repeated my strategy. As I turned around, I confirmed there was now respawn, and I moved in to engage one on my own terms. I attacked another golem, and I noticed that I was fighting alone. True to character, Rem Travel had reset. He must have forgotten what we were doing. I chugged another healing potion and slowly dealt with both foes while keeping an ear out for any cries from the Prospector. I managed to down both golems and quickly bandaged before approaching Rem Travel. I kept my distance though to give him the space to initiate any combat. He started poking around again, and 2 stronger trogs burst from a nearby wall. I interrupted the caster and pulled it back near my partner. With additional respawns confirmed at the entrance, this was the moment I became truly committed in this pit. We took down both foes, and I started a preemptive bandage. Rem Travel moved like he was ready to leave, so I forged ahead and started clearing respawns. Oblivious to my struggles, Rem Travel walked ahead, and I caught up to help him with his quarry. I bandaged while he again took the lead. We had only 1 golem remaining in our way, and we destroyed it with ease. With Prospector Rem Travel safely escorted, he remembered that he had already given the item he was searching for to his apprentice Holly. With an exasperated sigh, I headed back to the dig site to start looting my kills.
How are you?
I returned to Aberdeen and spoke with archaeologist Holly, completing my hardcore achievement.
Thank the stars, Prospector Rem Travel is safe. I told you he was absent-minded. I can't believe he insisted on staying there with all of those horrible creatures lurking about. So, the Prospector wants to send the mysterious fossil to the Explorers League in Darnassus? I don't feel right leaving Darkshore without him.
Alright, we did it. Protect the Prospector before level 20. It actually wasn't that hard. I remember people saying this was almost impossible the last time I made a hardcore character. So we have a lovely little collection of hardcore achievements here. And so now that we have protected the Prospector, next episode we will be pursuing the achievements of eliminating Lieutenant Fangor and then also completing the Light of Elune quest, both of which we'll have to complete before level 24. Anyway, that's going to be it for me. Thank you for watching. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please consider subscribing and leaving a comment. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!